A car like this is not merely a commuter vehicle. Indeed, it's a stunning creature that male drivers desire to conquer. Therefore, sometimes men will describe their dream car as a dream lover. A man feels satisfied if he can control and conquer it. Some sexual attraction comes as a surprise, such as the phenomenon of mama fans. Over the years, there have been many popular young idols. These good-looking teen male idols' most fervent admirers are not only girls of the same age, but also women old enough to be their mother. One of these mothers said something extraordinarily insightful. I think that women are much more attuned to beauty and beautiful things than men are. And that includes boys. However, more than anything, these women were trying to prove that beneath the armor of motherhood, marriage, and career, they were still the same young girls they'd once been. Surely, teen idol marketers are acutely aware of the mama fans phenomenon. Media firms and production agencies know that when they have a millennial target audience, the secondary target audience will be her mother. These middle-aged mothers are liable to be watching TV shows with their kids or listening to the kids' music in the car. Apart from creating common interest with their children, middle-aged mothers can also sneakily find a way to recapture their dreams as a young lady. Sex appeal comes in many shapes and sizes. It's becoming more and more socially acceptable for men to take an active role in maintaining their appearance. Body wash, cosmetics, and skin products designed for them are better received. A lot of brands that has always catered to and been associated with females are going to new lengths to target the appearance and beauty-conscious male. Of course, brands will pay special attention to balancing masculinity and femininity. Marketers know full well that these tough guys fear of being feminized. A few years ago, one maker of body wash noticed that men were resisting the product because they felt that the way it was applied by touching one's own body was too feminine. Therefore, they invented a new type of loofah, providing men with a physical barrier of sorts between their hands and their bodies, which effectively brought down the resistance to the product. Advertisers offering male cosmetics usually will choose macho names, which evoke associations with sporty and manly things, such as camouflage, Terminator, or Crouching Tiger. These brands also design cool-looking packaging for the products. Axe has even rolled out a facial cleanser with the bottle designed to look like a grenade. The underlying emotional promise these brands are making is to smooth out the rough edges and make him look good, while still being rugged and masculine at the same time. The brands now have firmly grasped the hearts of their male consumers. To sum up, sexual attraction is one of our most basic and primal human desires. Marketers and advertisers will tap into our deepest sexual desires, inspire us to conquer something, and then make a whole lot of money in the process. Well, we've covered all of part 2, how these companies brandwash us. The 3 typical marketing strategies aim at tapping into consumers' fear, nostalgia, and sexual attraction. Who are the people companies use to brandwash us? We will now begin to explore the third part. Besides our own psychological influence, who will influence us when we shop? Humans are social animals that are afraid of being left alone, isolated, or rejected. In primitive culture, being left out or exiled from the human tribe was extremely horrible for our ancestors, because they would most likely be eaten by a wild beast. Therefore, humans tend to observe others' behavior to follow along in a group. A social psychologist once carried out an experiment. He recruited some students to take their seats in a room, purportedly to fill out a survey. But that was only a distraction from the real purpose. A large glass jar of cookies stood prominently on a nearby desk. "Would you like a cookie?" the researcher asked the survey takers. Most of the participants said no. A stranger then strolled into the room, removed the glass lid, took a cookie in front of everyone in the room, and walked out again like nothing had happened. This time, when the survey takers were asked if anyone wanted a cookie, nearly every single person took one. This experiment revealed that we as humans will observe other people's actions to determine our next move, which is one of our subconscious behavioral patterns. Humans want what other humans have, or even covet what they have. Is it true that we shop all on our free will? Are brands chosen by us? Does it have anything to do with others? The author pointed out in the book that when making shopping decisions, we are significantly influenced by others. It's called peer pressure. Let's take a look at how a company takes advantage of peer pressure's persuasive powers to affect consumers. In America, preparing Christmas gifts for your children is crucial. One year, the hottest must-have Christmas toy on every child's wish list was the Juju pet hamster. Many people were confused why this pet became such a social epidemic. It doesn't sing or dance. It only makes a variety of odd sounds. It turns out this wasn't just a happy accident. First, the company staged hamster giveaways at Major League Baseball games, zoos, and children's hospitals. They intentionally gave the hamster active, adorable, warm and sweet characteristics. Next, it sponsored roughly hundreds of hamster parties where influential mommy bloggers were the fortunate recipients of the toys. It also hosted online activities and interactive discussions, such as fans across the Ju universe shared what made Juju pets so unique to them. Share yours and win secret prizes. The result was that soon mothers around the country knew what Christmas present their children wanted. It then started hunger marketing, that is, to manufacture fewer Juju pets. When it comes to what we buy for our children, guilt can also play a part. Many mothers started to feel anxious because the kid next door got one while their kid wasn't as lucky. People were bidding up to 3 or 5 times the selling price online to get these toys. As such, we instinctively look to the behavior and thoughts of others to inform the decisions we make when shopping. Let's take other examples. Most of us check online reviews or online customer feedback before making purchase decisions. The phenomenon of bestseller lists also powerfully demonstrates that others' preferences and purchases can sway our choices. Imagine that you're entering a big chain bookstore, where you're confronted by square footage that rivals a football field. What finally stands out are the bestsellers. The main reason bestseller lists exist in the first place was probably just to track sales. But later on, publishers gradually found out that the books in the bestseller list sold well no matter how badly the sales volume was before. Bestseller lists work so well in persuading us that they have been adopted beyond book publishing by other products and industries, such as 10 best songs, 10 most popular TV shows, 10 highest grossing movies of the week, and so on. Also, tags in the App Store, such as Now Trending, and What We're Using, lead us to click on the icons. Amazon, the online bookseller, takes a step further by actually emailing customers to let them know that their fellow buyers of a particular item have also purchased some items which they might like. 9. Of course, the most convincing persuaders are our family and friends, especially those we trust and admire. We long to live like them and have what they have. This word-of-mouth marketing works better than any kind of advertisement. The author, Martin, concocted a bold reality show program. He chose a suitable family to test the power of stealth word-of-mouth marketing in the neighborhood. Their ideal candidate was a good-looking and picture-perfect middle-class family. The father, Mr. Morganson, an enterprise executive with a decent job, was successful and sports-obsessed. The mother, Mrs. Morganson, elegant and charming, was a fashion trendsetter among her friends. Their 3 kids were hip and handsome, smitten with music, skateboarding, technology, and the latest brands and styles. Their mission in the show was to naturally persuade their neighbors to buy a broad array of products. This show was designed to test the power of word-of-mouth marketing. The results of this clandestine operation would ultimately reveal something shocking. One time, Mrs. Morganson and a group of friends were going shoe shopping at DSW, the giant retail chain. She said that she just loved the whole concept of the store, while in fact she'd never driven this far to any store. 2 hours later, she's managed to convince 5 of her friends to buy multiple pairs. Another thing the author observed was that one of Mrs. Morganson's friends had seemed very reluctant to purchase an item. However, when Mrs. Morganson complimented her on how good the shoes looked, and another friend expressed her willingness to purchase a pair, the reluctant friend finally decided to buy. During the show, Mrs. Morganson ingenuously recommended sparkling wine, jewelry, and beauty products through gatherings. In 2 weeks, Her neighbors were all wearing charms and earrings created by the jewelry company Mrs. Morganson had trumpeted. One of her friends even